Hello, it's Saturday. I'm going to talk to you a little bit. Again, cheers. It's a sunny day here in Omaha, Nebraska, so you're getting that light off of my face, and sometimes I try to close the curtains, it still comes through. I'm just here for a few minutes. I'm here to first acknowledge the passing of Nancy Wilson, the great jazz singer. I grew up on Nancy Wilson. It's not the sort of thing that I prefer to listen to at home alone, so I do not have any Nancy Wilson records. But I grew up on her. I recognized her artistry. I also recognize her struggle as a black woman, black artist, dealing with just the insanity of racism and double standards. And she was a class act all the way, and just a wonderful person. God bless her. Rest in peace. The other thing I want to say is I want to thank you all for being so kind to me. I received some gifts from someone. I have no idea who it is. I think the person's name is Phil, but I think is his name Phil. Someone asked me a while back, what is it that I drink? What kind of coffee? And I said pears, cinnamon nut swirl. I get a box yesterday. A pears cinnamon nut swirl. That's my favorite. I drink other types, but this is my favorite. I wasn't aware. I still haven't looked. I don't know if it's locally grown. Obviously, probably not. But I know that this flavored coffee is not necessarily supposed to be good for you, but that doesn't even make any sense to talk about, because everything we do isn't good for us, because everything is based on the bottom line, which is how do I make money? And so when you make things to make money, you don't make them healthy or for good health. So thank you for the coffee very much. And he also sent me a record. I'm very kind people. I only got it to drop the needle on this just a little bit, because I have been busy these last couple of days with my last show, which went well, and getting ready to do an art sale to help my friend Hugo post bail money. But I believe his name is Philip. Philip sent me this, Wildflowers. The Wildflowers. Now, I didn't know that this was on vinyl. The Wildflowers was the first incarnation of the musicians who went on to start Soft Machine, Caravan, Gong, and they never properly released anything. So there's some studio recordings on here, but there's a lot of practice tapes and the beginnings. Historically, this is really a wonderful thing to have in my collection, because, as I say, for some people, funk, James Brown, Motown, whatever, even maybe like more modern Smashing Pumpkins or Nirvana, those are some of the kind of ground zero artists that people have in their collections. Pearl Jam. The Canterbury Group, that's my ground zero. That's my biggest complaint about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, is that it completely is missing history. There's no mention of these bands anywhere in the Rock and Roll History Hall of Fame. The Canterbury School, for me, changed my life, and for me, one of the most distinct areas of rock music development in the 60s and 70s, and there's no mention of it in the Rock and Roll. They don't even know who those people are. That tells you what I think about the fucking Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. These guys are giants to me. You know, they're like Cecil Taylor and Miles Davis and Duke Ellington and Stravinsky and the absolute greats of all time. And this is where they began, the Wildflowers. Thank you, Phil, for sending this to me. I've just dropped the needle on the first side. And of course, what you hear here is the beginnings, and a lot of the beginnings is the typical ones all over the world, all over the Western world in particular. The mainstream, which means white culture discovering the black blues and feeling and soul, and trying to copy it, trying to emulate it. And there's a lot of that on there. What I love is where they took those roots and made it their own. They completely left the blues behind and created an entire universe of sound of their own, which saved my life. Saved my life. Mana Mirage, Dave Newhouse, my brother, all you people on here, this is part of that continuum, and I am now part of it. I'm on this album. Mana Mirage is part of the American continuum of the Canterbury School. To me, one of the most important movements in music. And it's not about numbers. It's not about how many people sold records. It's about influence. It's about helping to fill in colors on the painting of life. How's that? They took care of an area that was not being touched by Little Richard or Jimi Hendrix or Pink Floyd, for that matter. You know, Soft Machine and Pink Floyd played together in the early days. Man, I wish I could have been there. Lord knows that Soft Machine were kicking Pink Floyd's ass every time they came around. So thank you again very much for this wonderful present of the coffee and the music. You know, people will every now and then say things to me about, well, don't stress about politics. You don't understand. I'm not stressing like a dumbass about politics. I'm speaking about the world because it's part of my nature, and I think it's important for my own sense of importance to state that I see what's going on, and I'm not brain dead. I'm not numb, and I'm not one of the sort of persons who is so easily distracted by the commonplace things that we are distracted by that I don't see the larger picture. And I think it's important to point out, to say something about how unjust power is, and just how shit everything is, and how it's not going to turn around. It's just going to keep grinding down until it's a mess, and whoever is left starts something new. I can talk about that if I want to, and I will. I think it's the idea is to try to encourage others who maybe don't think about such things to start thinking about them. It makes a difference how you live and act, how conscious or unconscious you are. It's less likely that you're going to be harmful and hurtful to others and the planet if you're thinking about what you're doing. And there's a whole lot of non-thinking going on all the time. So that's why I talk about social concerns and politics. It's not stress. It's important. It is important. I've also noticed on my Facebook feed, more of my friends are starting to pass on affirmations and trying to say positive things and encouraging words every day, as well as all the bullshit reporting of news and all the stupid fucking jokes that people are telling as though that's helping anything. Oh, it's a stress reliever. Gotta laugh to keep from crying. Can't we go further than that now? That's my point. Is that the best that you can do? Is that the best we can do? I'm saying no. And I'm saying the only way to go further is to push harder and to try to communicate and create some kind of to lessen the division. We all have something in common. We're all life. So we're all one thing. But our experience is very individual. We're not thinking collectively. But our collective what is the word? You know, it's like our fate is collective, okay? The survival of the planet and life, it's all connected in the larger picture. So that's why I say these things. It's not stupid. Okay? If anything, I would like to say to folks who are telling me to calm it down, catch up to me. Raise your bar. Raise the bar. We need to try to help one another and try. I think this is an important message. I don't think I'm an idiot. I think this is important to say over and over and over again.